Hi, this is Sensei David, and I'll be covering the one steps for red belt. One steps for red belt. So I'll be covering two different series for the one steps for the red belt. The first series is going to be called hook block series, hooking block series. Okay, so there's four different techniques for the hooking block series. Okay, they're all based on your attacker throwing some type of punch towards you. So the first one is called hooking block arch hand. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what an arch hand is, it's like a grasping block, but your hand is this way. It's vertical like this, arch hand. You're using this as a weapon, okay? So arch hand. So my attacker decides to throw a punch, okay? So I'm gonna do what's called a snake block. Snake block. See how this kind of looks like the head of a snake? That's why they call it a snake block. Snake block, okay? So she's stepping in, okay? I step to the side, I block her arm with a snake block, okay? Then, what I do then is I do a vertical punch to the head. I can bring my arm down. After I've done the snake block, I can push her arm down, arch hand to the neck, or to the throat. Arch hand to the throat. Okay, now I'm not going to do this too fast because I don't want to hurt her. So let's do it one more time. So she steps in to do a punch. I do a snake block, block it, I block the punch, okay? Then I've got this other hand here. I do a vertical punch to the head, bring this arm down, arch hand to the neck, arch hand to the neck. Now if I want to make it worse, I could step behind her and then take her down with that arch hand if I want. But let's just limit it to that first, okay? That's number one. Number two is called this is an inverted hook, pull down, inverted hooking block pull down. So I'm pulling the person down. So again, it's based on someone stepping in to punch, okay? In this case, I'll be doing an inverted hook. That's this way. This was a snake block, that was number one. This is an inverted hook, So she's stepping in, I do an inverted hook, I block the punch. At the same time, I've stepped in, so my leg is right behind her knee. My knee is right behind hers, okay? So from here, all I have to do is, since I've got leverage on her knee, I take this hand, put it on her shoulder, I take my other hand, put it on her shoulder, and then I'm gonna take her down slowly. She's gonna do a back fall. So I take her down, she goes to the ground. So when she's on the ground, I could either put my knee down to her chest and do a punch to her face, or I can bring my foot up and do a stomping kick to her head. Those are a bunch of different options you could do. You always help the person up, okay? So, work on that slowly, and then you could speed it up, okay? We're working on a pad here, okay? But you want to work on someplace with a soft surface if you can. All right, next one is called inverted hooking block push. Instead of pulling down, I'm pushing the individual. So again, it's a middle punch. I do that hooking block, okay? All right, then all I do is put one shoulder on top, right on the top part of her back, the other part in the lower part of her back, and just push. I push, okay? Now we'll do it again. So she steps in, okay? I do that hooking block, all right? I could step in like this to give myself more leverage, but I don't have to be behind her knee, okay? And so I want to give myself more leverage as far as pushing her. So one's high, one's low, and then push. I use the ground to push off of to push her, okay? I don't just push with my hands. You know, when you push, you're pushing off the ground and pushing that person, okay? That's I can't remember, that's number 3. Okay, so number 4 is inverted block takedown, inverted block takedown. So again, it's based on someone stepping in and punching. So, let me get over here. So, I do an inverted block. Okay, then I step in and do a palm heel. I step in behind her knee, do a palm heel to her chin. Okay. Now I turn into a horse stance, and at the same time, so my body shifts into a horse stance, and then I take her down, do a back fall. And then again, same option. I can do a punch to the face or a stomp to the face. So we'll do it once again. So she's stepping in, okay? So I do inverted block, inverted hooking block. I step behind her, do a palm heel to the face. Then I've got leverage behind her knee. I just shift my body into a horse stance. Take her down. All right, then I finish, I get down on her and punch to the face. And then I can follow up with a stomp to the head. Okay? So there's a lot of different things once they're on the ground. Or you could run away, whatever you want to do. So that takes care of the hooking block series. Next is called the break the weapon series. Again, this is all following one step. These are all one steps for red belts. So break the weapon series, it's based on someone punching again. In this case, I'm using palm blocks. We're all familiar with how to do a palm block. This is the palm, use this base and block with the palm. So she's stepping in, I block, do a palm block, all right? Then after that, after a palm block, let's start it again. She steps in, I do a palm block, I'm guiding her hand in. Then I'm doing an elbow, I'm guiding her hand into my elbow and I'm raising my elbow. So I guide her hand in, elbow strike to her fist. It's bone against bone, but these fingers are the ones that are gonna break, not my elbow. And then I come down on the top of the wrist with another elbow and then come down with a hammer fist to the top. So let's do it one more time. Okay, so I guide her hand in, elbow strike, come down on her wrist, and then hammer fist. Okay, and from there I've got both arms. I could do what I want. I could step. You know, I could step behind her, take her down this way. I could do an arm bar and a knee kick. There's a lot of things I can do once I've got that arm. So that's break the weapon number one. Break the weapon number two is break the weapon tricep. Okay, so using a tricep, I'm hitting the tricep. All I'm really, again doing is I'm doing a palm block, so face me a little bit more this way. Okay, so I'm doing that palm block, she's punching, I do that palm block. So I've gotten the punch out of the way. I take this hand and bring it underneath and do a knife hand to the tricep, knife hand to the tricep. Okay, so I've taken control of the situation. Again, I've got my hands on both of her, I've got both of my hands on one arm. I can do whatever I want. Okay, so I could, again, bring her in for a knee kick. Okay, I can bring her head down for a knee kick to the head. All right, I'm in control. I've avoided the punch and I've taken control. So that's break the weapon tricep. Number three, the last one, break the weapon underarm punch, underarm strike. So in this case, I'm using a back fist, an underarm back fist to strike back. Again, she's stepping in, I block, punch more towards me. So I'm blocking at the same time, I'm doing a palm block. So again, palm block, and then all I do is bring this arm up into a hammer fist right underneath here. So it's knuckle against flesh and bone, okay? So these are pressure points underneath the arm where when you hit it it's gonna hurt, okay? It's gonna hurt. And then after that, you can follow up with whatever you want. So we've covered the hooking block series and we've covered break the weapon series. So there's 4 in the hooking block series and 3 in break the weapon series. Hope that helps. Again, when we'll cover it in class, but during break, I want to make sure that you guys at least can start practicing. Thank you.